dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom. Hello my dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom. And today's our session is of standard 7th. Subject is history and the topic is Maharashtra before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. Our first lesson was sources of history, and then in second one we talked about the India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj, and now in fourth one we are going to learn about the Maharashtra before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. At the beginning of the 17th century AD, most of the territory in Maharashtra was under the control of Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar and the Adil Shah of Bijapur. So two rulers were there, Nizam Shah and Adil Shah. But then the Mughals had entered the Khandesh region and their objective was to expand their power in the south. Now this is the natural, common or obvious thing to understand, that any king or ruler always, as we studied in history, tried to expand his territory, and for the same reason Mughals also entered the Khandesh region to expand their power in the south. And in the coastal belt of Konkan, there were two sea powers, the Portuguese and the Siddhi people, who had come from Africa. Now the competition and conflict among the Portuguese, the British, the French and the Dutch, who had come from Europe, was getting intense during this period, and this was for to capture the markets for trade. So now Nizam Shah, Adil Shah, Mughals, Portuguese, Siddhi, British and Dutch, इतने सारे लोग महाराष्ट्र में हो गए और जिनका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्लियर था, इनको अपना रूलिंग टेरिटरी बढ़ाना था, और ये जो बाहर से आए हुए थे पोर्तुगीज, डच, ब्रिटिश, उन्हें मार्केट कंट्रोल करना था, कैप्चर करना था. And all these powers assessed the strength of other powers, kept themselves safe and tried to dominate as much as possible. Now because of all these things, because of all these constant conflicts among all the powers, which had led to instability and insecurity in Maharashtra. And if we want to learn in detail about all these things, then it is very necessary to start it with the village, Kasbah and Pargana, because the nature of settlement of that period was in the villages. most of the people lived in villages, and a village was called Moja. So about Moja we'll see now. Most of the people lived in villages, and which one is called as Moja. The chief of the village was the Patil. As you people learnt in civics of 6th standard, that local government bodies, like that एग्जैक्टली उस तरह का एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन या डेमोक्रेसी नहीं थी, बट एक सिस्टम थी जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन चलाती थी. सो द चीफ ऑफ द विलेज वॉज द पाटिल. He used to try to bring maximum land under cultivation. If there was any dispute in the village, the Patil resolved it and made peace. Then the next officer, Kulkarni, who helped the Patil in his work. The Kulkarni kept the record of the revenue that was collected, and there were various artisans in the village. They had hereditary rights regarding their occupation. The peasants gave a share of their agricultural produce to the artisans for the services they rendered to the village community, and this share was known as baluta. जैसे आज अलग अलग शॉप्स हम देखते हैं और वहाँ पर जाकर सामान खरीदते हैं, इट वॉज नॉट लाइक दैट इन द मेडिवल इंडिया. अलग अलग लोग अलग अलग काम करते थे, और जो खेती करने वाले लोग थे उनके ज़रूरत की चीज़ें उनसे लाते थे और उसके बदले में उन्हें ग्रेन्स दे दिया करते थे. एंड दिस सिस्टम वाज कॉल्ड बलूता सिस्टम. देन द नेक्स्ट थिंग, कस्बा, which was like a big village. A kasbah was like a big village. It was usually the headquarters of a pargana. For example, which is given in our textbook, Indapur Kasbah of Indapur Pargana, Wai Kasbah of Wai Pargana, where the headquarters of those parganas. Again the same thing, as we know, agriculture was the main occupation here. There were skilled artisans like carpenters, blacksmiths. Like in village, Patil and Kulkarni. In Kasbah, the Shete and Mahajan were the watandars of the pet or market, we can say. Every village did not necessarily have a pet. Pet is a marketplace. The setting up of a pet was the job of the Setes and Mahajans, and for that they received some land from the government and some rights from the villagers. So here, like Kulkarni in the village or in the Moja maintained the records, here the Mahajan maintained the accounts of the pet. Next one, Pargana. Many villages together made a Pargana, but the number of villages was not the same in all Parganas. बहुत सारे गांव मिलकर एक परगना बनता था, लेकिन हर परगना में सेम नंबर के गांव नहीं होते थे. Try to understand this. For example, the Pune Pargana consisted of 290 villages, whereas in Chakan Pargana there were 64 villages, and Sirval Pargana, which had only 40 villages. So the number of villages were different. Maybe it depends on the size or on the population. Now, like Patil and Kulkarni at Mauja, Mahajan and Sette in Kasba, here in Pargana, the Deshmukh and the Deshpande were the Watandar officers of the Pargana. Deshpande was the chief of all Kulkarnis in the Pargana. For example, अगर हम पुणे परगना की बात करेंगे तो जिसमें 290 विलेजेस है और हर एक विलेज का एक पाटिल हुआ, तो ऐसे 290 पाटिल और कुलकर्णी वहाँ के जो है कुलकर्णी, देशमुख was the chief of them, and Deshpande was the chief of all Kulkarnis in the Pargana. These Watandar officers were the link between the people and the government. लोगों के जो भी काम होते थे, जो भी काम अड़ते थे, वो उन्हें देशपांडे, देशमुख, पाटिल, कुलकर्णी, इन लोगों को बताने होते थे और वो फिर अपना प्रोसेस आगे करते थे और ऐसे लोगों के प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाते थे. In case of enemy invasion or drought, these Watandars represented the grievances of the people to the government, and sometimes these officers misused their powers also, by which the people suffered harassment. Now, how they harassed the people? By collecting more money from the people than was due or did not remit the money, so collected to the government in time. So this was the system. Then the next one, the calamity of a famine. As we learned that the agriculture was the main occupation of the people, and for agriculture, which was totally dependent on rain water, and famine is the thing which was the greatest calamity for the people. It was difficult for people to live in the village. It was in 1630. People were ready to sell themselves for a piece of bhakri, but there was nobody to buy them. By this sentence, you can understand the worst situation. Entire families were destroyed, agriculture was devastated, the famine put an end to industries, financial transactions came to a standstill. People had to wander to far away regions in search of livelihood. And after this, the next point is the work of the sons or the work of the Warkari movement. Now about this point we'll talk in the next session. So thank you very much and take care. So my dear ones, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.